Okay, I can't stand this now.
There's a man with a lifesaver in his hand, half sucked.
Right.
Now he's looking, okay, paper towel. Now he's thinking about what's on his hands.
It's so terrible. It's so terrible. Because I'm going to think later on that I needed that. I can tell what kind of a week it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's going to be me, minusculely looking at everything I do.
The minutia hunter.
Yes. No, I'm not asking you a question. I know that's a trap.
From the Thought Spiral Studios in Sherman Oaks, California, it's The Swindler in the Morning.
I feel nauseous. I didn't like the beer. The beer didn't agree with me last night.
Here's Steely Dan. All right, well, welcome to the new blood's gone this week.
What's going?
The new blood, she's gone.
The new blood.
How can you be so confused so early in
the new
show?
blood. Give me a clue.
Her name was Jen Kirkman. She was here last week.
Oh, the new blood. I just sound so weird that it doesn't sound like new blood. It's not like a team. You know what? You're right. The new blood's not here. It's just me. No, you know why? I'm coming down from a high, my friend.
Oh, good.
I mean, not that. That describes every day. What'd you do today? Got high?
Then I came down.
Then I came down. And then, okay, and then the topic can be Andy lies about how much pot he smoked. Okay, I can't have forgotten so quickly. Oh, yeah. I woke up this morning and we must have gone viral today, the show, or bumped up in some fashion.
It was a good day. It was, I think what I was happy with was just the universal approval of of last week's show.
Ben Lee music.
Jen Kirkman was very worried that she was going to somehow taint the show or throw off some imaginary balance in the show.
Yeah. She was afraid to get in between the delicate, not charisma, but what do we have? Our relationship.
Chemistry.
Chemistry is what I meant to say. Our on-air chemistry.
Yeah.
Because we're like a top rolling. We're a fine-tuned machine normally.
Or a top.
We're fine-tuned top. I don't understand what a top is, and I very horrible game, which is hard.
You're having a little stroke.
Oh, maybe. So it's funny to you that you know I just got back from the neurologist. What's that?
I said raise your arms. Huh?
Wait, what's the joke? I mean, what's the joke I can do here?
I'm doing a stroke test.
Okay. You don't know that's not what you say. The first question is, do you smell burnt toast? That's the first question you ask me.
No, it's not the first question.
You do.
No.
That's if you're having a stroke. But having had a stroke, you go, did it smell like burnt toast? Look, I know people have had a stroke, and I'm not making fun of anything, and I'm not even being funny.
Right.
So I woke up today, and
your last joke made me taste copper.
I'll never forget. I think I've said this before on the show. One of my favorite lines of all time, and I think it's safe to say it now, that at Igby's Comedy Club, I saw Freddie Asparagus, who's you know the name, right?
I don't.
He was in.
I would remember it.
He was in Cheech and Chong movies, I think, and he was part of the '60s kind of a thing. And he and Ed Krasner.
So presumably, Asparagus wasn't his regular name.
It wasn't his name. But at one point, Ed Krasner turned towards me and he said, "His act is so bad, my urine is beginning to stink."
Because it's asparagus.
It's so good.
It is a good joke.
And also, let it be known, as I've heard once in a what's that group? Jim Jabber to the rescue. Jim Dandy to the God.
Commander Cody?
No, it's Jim Dandy. It's Sweet Home Alabama, that group.
Oh, not the Allman Brothers. Leonard Skinner.
I think it's even worse. No, not worse. That's a good band, right? It's a band that's got a guy goes. He's got long hair. So maybe it wasn't sweet. Oh God, just stop it. Can we go back? Can I go back?
Sure.
That's a botch.
It's the swindler in the morning.
Good morning. I don't care if that's even good.
Here's some Supertramp.
But first of all, it was so great. She didn't want to get in between our delicate timing that we have.
Right.
And it was like I could have gone on 4 more hours. And I already did think in my mind, this is what the show needs, her on it every week. Because then we don't have to do any work at all.
Yeah, it was nice.
But then you know that after...
There wasn't any of that, what should we talk about energy?
But I will guarantee you, even with Jen Kirkman, 16 more test shows in of that format.
Yeah. No, I think it should be a rare and precious treat.
Oh, absolutely. No, I was
but
just
an ongoing treat nonetheless.
That's
Jen,
true. I didn't even think about that.
Come back, Jen.
Oh, my God. This could be... If we have a big event, when we start making a lot of money, we can really spread it around now.
That's right.
And people reacted to it nicely, although I did understand that she said she didn't want to hear it because she likes the show normally. It's hard to listen to yourself. I know you have many times asked if you could come over.
I've come to hate myself through the course of editing this show.
Well, that's just unavoidable. You have to hear your voice every day.
Yeah, I hate me with a passion.
At least you don't do something like, well, I got to tell you, after everything. Well, I got to tell you.
No, I have that on a track that I drop in.
You don't do so.
I do. What?
I'm very impressed at our, not agenda, but our, it's mostly you, our banked.
You're having trouble with the word.
I am having trouble, but I know what I'm trying to say.
It's okay. It's radio. You don't need them. Oh, shit.
Huh? Of our banked running bits, the latest of which, I don't know what you call these. The latest of which is Praise Call Shark Tank. And then there's a thing that you hold in your hand, and it's gooey, and then I need $3 million up front, and I need $2 million seed money. See, right now, I could do that forever. Yeah. I'm not doing it well, but it still brings me joy.
That's good.
And we have a number of those in the bank.
And I know that I can bring you joy when I go, please go Shark Tank! Welcome to Please Go Shark Tank! Today we have a very exciting show! We have Andy Kimball as a celebrity guest, and he's gonna watch little Dylan say with his pitch for a new kind of bicycle/swimming pool.
And the bicycle, and you put it in the swimming pool.
We'll be right back on Please Go Shark Tank!
The worst production values on TV. That's what I predict.
Yeah.
These kids should not be also running their own show. They shouldn't be doing the voiceover.
They should, I think. 4 kids by kids.
Who's going to be the Art Linkletter?
Fuck Buck.
Now, I got to tell you, it really is a tradition to come over to your house. I have traditions in my life now.
Yeah, rituals. The OCD people call them.
Well, now you've ruined it.
Oh.
But I come here and I go, I know every Monday you're like, I'm raring to go. Let's get this going. Mm-hmm. Joy. Uh-huh. This is what I got in the business for.
All right.
This is what I know the old show business.
They're paying me for the other stuff. This I do for free.
This one's on me.
All right.
And but sometimes I go, I don't want to do anything. I do have a hermitage attitude. I could be a hermit.
Yeah.
Which I never knew till you brought it up.
I know. I feel semi-guilty about that because I didn't mean to make it such a revelation for
you. Should I live in a dream world?
No, I guess not.
I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm like a Howard Hughes level.
No, clearly not.
Right. So I know, but I think that I could get, I don't think I'm ever going to be a guy who has fondue parties or book clubs.
Right.
Nobody has fondue parties like book clubs.
No.
Did you get into fondue when it got popular again? There was a place on Ventura up here people used to go to all the time.
Yeah, but it closed in like 1992.
Did you go, though? I did go.
I went once or twice.
Did we not fool ourselves into thinking it was a special night out?
No, I didn't think it was a special night out. It was an ironic night out.
There's only so much ironic eating that you can do.
Yeah, sometimes they'll come through, and your irony will pay off, and it'll be a blend of actual pleasure and and snobbiness.
Well, it's not like that it's tasteless. It's actually, when you first time you do have it, and having not had it, there is a kitschy, yet also,
I was into the Mongolian hot pot.
What was that?
That's something you can make at home. That's essentially fondue, except for it's super hot broth that you're cooking in.
Oh.
So you like have a wok on the table, an electric wok. Can keep the soup boiling, and then you cook all the stuff in it throughout the evening, and then at the end of the evening, you got a nice soup to drink too.
Well, what does the evening consist of? People walking up to the soup?
No, you sit around it. There's a tray of meat, a tray of vegetables, a bunch of dipping sauces.
Oh, so this is like Mongolian barbecue.
Yeah, it's like that, except wet.
But you wouldn't go. I wouldn't go to a Mongolian barbecue. They would never consider. They were always like people.
Mongolian barbecue is a little different.
Yeah,
you're thinking of Korean barbecue. Mongolian barbecue is on a flat top.
Right. The
Korean barbecue is where you sit around a grill.
And they bring you
stuff. It's very similar to Korean barbecue, except, again, wet.
Right, and I don't really understand.
I like it a lot.
Do you like kimchi?
I do.
I know I'm supposed to. As I get into my older...
As far as vegetables buried in the ground for a couple of years, it's my favorite.
What is it based on? It's a root vegetable of some type?
It's cabbage. It's sauerkraut.
You know, that's the thing is amazing, is that cabbage is, as a Jew, I can also vouch for the tradition of the stuffed cabbage being a fantastic dish.
I was never into stuffed cabbage or stuffed peppers. That was never my gig.
Well, Susan's family, from her background, has these great, like meat, ground beef in stuffed peppers that are really amazing.
Yeah.
I think you'd like it.
No, I wouldn't. I hate green peppers.
Just shut up.
So for starting off.
Don't say that.
No,
There's some red peppers.
Oh, I hate those too.
Okay, but they're not red peppers, really. They taste like prunes.
I like that. Now you're talking my language.
And we're back. 16 past the hour on the Ratsky and Ratsky show. On the Jew Brothers. On Old Jew Brothers.
Here's some Bryan Adams.
It was summer of... Is he the summer of 69?
Yes, he is. That's Bryan Adams taking a dump, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Whenever the show goes to the dark side, like Eddie and the Cruisers.
On the dark side. Yeah. On the dark side. Yeah.
There are some movies that I did like at one point.
Out of the shadow, she walks like a dream.
But I thought he was the greatest rock star.
Yeah. Which, Eddie or John Cafferty in the Beaver Brown Band, who did the actual song?
No. Well, okay, maybe I did confuse John Cafferty in the Beaver Brown Band with the character of Eddie. Yeah. But when he says words and music, he means it. Words and music, man. And if you think about it, he's not wrong.
It's true.
What's a song?
Words, music.
Words and music.
A little magic.
I think I've seen The Idolmaker 75 times,
too.
I
really liked The Idolmaker a great deal in its day.
With the guy who...
they were one of the first movies to cast Marsha Brady, too.
As an adult?
As an adult, yeah.
Oh, I never... See, this is the kind of trivia stuff I thought you would know. Do you know Paul, King of TV?
Huh? I know
Paul Goebbels?
Yeah.
That's a guy who would answer anything.
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's 72 degrees down. I took off my my sweatshirt. I know when I'm going to say something that there's no reason to say it. I can't stop sometimes.
Sometimes I just have to narrate life.
But I did listen to a good the Enlightenment podcast. I listened to that. They're like 12-minute podcasts.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if I'd like it, but I listened to one of them. Very good. About awareness. So that instead of attaching to each thought, you don't attach. You let go of each. You don't identify with any one thought. Anything that goes through you is not you. It's your awareness is what stays. So someone like me who's always trying to force a conversation, right? Uh-huh. If I can stop focusing on the last thing I said, what you think about me, whatever, and then you're just awareness. Supposedly that's good.
So it's like a living state of meditation, sort of.
From what I can gather I want to listen to one of it. What he's saying is like what remains. It sounds like a cliche, but what remains is the now. That's the only thing that remains consistent is the now, and that you are you. It's like I think, therefore I am. You are here. You're here.
Right.
That's the best you can say.
Right.
Not the best you can say, or not even a particular way to say it. But I that helps me because all I do is think about the thought. The individual thoughts become a game of whether I'm a good person or not a good person. So start the clock. By 10 o'clock, you start to add them up.
All right.
And as I exit the house, I may take with me, maybe judge, and that's not what you're supposed to do. It's not about the comedy. It's not about the individual. It's not about the food. It's not about the microphones. It's about just clearing. It's about paying attention to what is. And now that sounds like Gary Shandling towards
Where did the food and microphones come in at all this?
I added that myself.
What is that?
Maybe this food. I just thought if I had something like
This started to become a maudlin speech at the end of a.
no, I was trying to add to the philosophy.
Career.
I was trying to make the philosophy appealing to everyone who's on the go. Maybe you're at a picnic.
Yeah.
And this is something you can practice.
I'll let you know after episode 2, after the second 12-minute episode. I'll teach you the path to enlightenment.
Look, I'm not saying I'm an expert on this guy yet. Dr. Robert Puff is his name. That doesn't sound right.
No.
What I am afraid. Here's what I am afraid of. I am afraid.
He lives by the sea, though, I hear.
What's that?
He lives by the sea, I hear.
I forgot his name already.
Puff.
What I'm afraid of every
Come
time.
to my office in Honolulu.
Hey, Honolulu. Hey, Puff. Okay. I lost it. No, I'll get it again. God damn it.
Puff the Magic Doctor is where I was going. What are you on?
I know. I mean, this is what's,
This is why.
This is it.
This is why stroke was my initial diagnosis.
But if that happens, you're going to, will your face be red?
No, I'll edit it out.
That doesn't, if I died, how would you cover it up? On vacation?
Hello, Jen Kirkman.
Such a quick fix. Hello, Jen Kirkman. Oh, God.
She didn't know she was auditioning, and either did you.
Uh-oh. Well, my mind really is completely empty now.
Well, that's good. You're in the moment.
I'm in the moment.
The podcast worked.
I'm in the moment now.
So, what was your level of disappointment about Kobe's death?
It hit me. It hit me. Well, on the John Lennon meter. Yeah. It didn't get on the meter really.
Right.
But a lot of times I am I'm not trying to make a big deal out of these things, but I am a little bit of a shock about something like that.
Right.
Because he's so young, is so unexpected. But I was a huge, not so much now, but I was a huge fan of the Lakers. I loved now mostly the 80s Lakers. I was like addicted to that team.
Yeah.
But I followed, when Kobe came back, kind of went away. But when Kobe came back,
came back from what?
When Shaq came from somewhere. When Shaq came from somewhere and he combined with Kobe,
Orlando.
They started to win again.
Yeah.
And I got to like that, and I started to like that team.
Once they started winning.
Yeah, you can make that argument, but it's not my fault. I moved out the year Magic Johnson came up. I mean, I was actually in the city where that whole phenomenon started.
Yeah.
So I came by it honestly.
Well, that's the same for me and Kobe. He came right soon after.
Oh, okay. Well, why I didn't even realize this is something that's so weird because you love basketball.
I do. I watched probably high 90% of like all his games of his career, probably.
So why don't you tell me what I would like to hear from somebody who actually knows more about than just the playoff years?
It actually hit me surprisingly hard. It was because it wasn't like he was a hero of mine per se,
right?
But I was, when you see someone go from 17 to 41 pretty much in front of your eyes,
right?
You have some skin in that game, it feels like. And that's true of the whole of Los Angeles for the most part. But, and it was one of those, like, sort of like really, it was just such a left field shock at first,
Yeah, I mean,
because particularly just because of how the last week had been sort of eulogizing him anyway, because LeBron was passing him on the all-time scoring chart.
I wasn't even following that except for that night, the night before. So, like,
the night before is when LeBron passed his scoring record.
Man.
And so there had been a lot of Kobe coverage all of last week. And it had been sort of that, reliving his career, showing how he got to those points kind of things. It had a eulogistic quality to it. So it was especially bizarre.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was a Ringo. It wasn't old John, but it was a Ringo for me. And then I cried a lot during the day just watching the NBA players.
Yeah, that was intense. I've never seen you cry. I'm not expecting you to cry now.
No.
But how often do you cry?
It happens.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think
you were. It's not so rare that it's...
I don't mean like at family things or something like that. I mean like at things you see on TV. I guess I think of you as slightly detached analytically.
I've told you before, I cry really easily at happy.
Oh, okay.
I rarely cry at sad. But I did yesterday. But yeah. I cry at happy like that. I just
That's cool.
It's very, triumph, at personal triumph.
Yeah.
Is what I cry at very quickly.
Right. For me, now is getting my prostate changed.
I'd cry like a baby if I saw that happen.
Yeah.
My prostate changed.
I don't know. Forget it. Just, I was hoping, why do you have to focus on a failure? Just let it go as if I had something wrong.
But, I don't know. It was an interesting day. It was interesting to watch. It's one of those days where I read Twitter, but I hate Twitter at the same time, because like all the fucking teachers come out when there's a collective moment.
Well, how about Ari Shafir and Dave Anthony's blocked me, so I have no idea what he even said.
Yeah.
But that's what actually set me more for a loop was as I started to think about how that issue of how people are so one way or the other way, nobody was there when it happened between Kobe and the woman. I mean,
right.
Obviously, we know a lot of facts of it almost it sounds like a different generation. It sounds like a different society with how poorly she was treated. You know what I mean? Like back then, they really did a good job they didn't do a good job. They kind of, so it's like, but nobody knows. No, it's not even that nobody knows what happened. To me, it's like, it starts to get to me, like I start to question myself, like, I can't love something, or I can't, and that then goes back to my own black and white.
Right.
That was the way I was raised, that it has to be all one way or another way. And I don't think there's any answer to summing up somebody like that, or making if someone goes, I could never watch him after that.
Well, I think that's totally legit.
Right.
I think there isn't a wrong. There probably is a wrong answer, but I think to me, my attitude about those things is, okay, you did it. It's your job to fix it with the public. If the public will accept you, then then you did it. I don't, right or wrong, and I think it's probably more wrong than right, but nonetheless, it was a long time ago. So I also have all these other things that I amassed about him.
Oh, since then,
yeah,
right.
That wasn't where my opinion of him stopped. And,
well, see,
and one of the things that I genuinely like about him, or the thing that has interested me about him, is watching him grow up from literally a teenager,
right.
In the public eye like that, 20-year-old god of Los Angeles, that's going to skew your vision of the world. But, because you're 20, you're not necessarily going to handle that kind of fame and that kind of entitlement, And I think, he grew up, and the things that he fucked up, he tended to address, and
I retweeted a thing about where he had apologized, and that guy Dave, the guy who writes for The Nation, wrote an interesting article.
And he was, like I said, he wasn't a role model to me,
Right.
He was, I am turned on by growth. And it's a guy who clearly did grow up over the course of that time, which not everybody does. After he retired, it was interesting to sort of see him when he didn't have to be a killer.
Right, like his relationship with his daughter was just so amazing to see him interact. I mean,
but when he wasn't totally consumed by this one goal, it was interesting to see how much energy he could actually disperse among all these things.
Yes. Yeah.
And he was doing it for the positive, I think,
And, the thing is that I think, for me, it reminded me that, like, when we had the argument, I've learned so much just from being on Twitter. Thank God I had therapy, or maybe I go crazy. But the whole idea of, like, I've learned now, maybe it's a huge revelation that I knew intellectually, that I'm having an argument with my father. That's what this 99% of it is. It's not even my father. It's not even a realistic portrayal of what my father was saying.
No, you're fighting a feeling.
I'm fighting a feeling of being not intelligent because he was so intelligent, or whatever the thing was. And so,
Andy, I'm going to say this to you right now. I don't think your father was smarter than you.
I think that I probably believe he was smarter than me, or
I know you believe that. But I think you don't have a 30-some-year-old comedy career without being a smart motherfucker.
Well, I appreciate that, but I also think that me thinking about intelligence came from my dad. I don't even think
Well, but that's why.
Yeah, that's
because
why.
I think what your dad was, and I don't mean to be mean to your dead father, but your dad was a bit of a blowharder and wanted to show how smart he was.
That's true.
I think he
was very charming.
He was performative about being smart.
Right.
And
also, I wanted people to know, like, on the other hand, he was so nice to the Quakers. I mean, he was like a positive,
I think
happy
he was a
guy.
sweet. I loved your dad the times I met him. I'm not. This is based on what I really know. This isn't based on what I would have gotten just from meeting him.
Right.
But I think you need to stop. I'm big on false narratives, the destructive power of false narratives, and I think that's just something you tell yourself. My father was so smart.
Yeah.
I could never be that smart.
Right.
And I don't think that's a true narrative.
And also, it's not something I believe in as a concept to live your life. Like, I used to make me mad when my father was like, when he would say, I'm no Weinstein. Because to me, it was like, I always thought I could do anything, even if I couldn't. I mean, obviously I wasn't going to be a physicist, but I never wanted to say I couldn't. I always wanted to be the best at whatever I could do.
Right.
But the thing I didn't realize, like with the singing and that there were some things, like the fight to say, I can sing, I had lost the fight. I lost the battle. Like, I didn't think I could, it's like I wasn't being truthful with myself.
Right.
Instead of addressing, whatever was said to you, whatever you felt, you're very, this is a tough issue for you.
Right.
So, Well,
I mean, anytime you're basing your self-concept on what other people think of you,
Yes.
You can use that as data, but it can't be the basis.
Well,
because it's not good data.
No, it's not good data, but also
what you think is their thinking is rarely correct.
Right, and this thing about where I got into these arguments with like Woody Allen or all these arguments, the arguments were still, even those arguments were someone saying you're a bad person because of the opinion you have.
It's scolding. You respond poorly to scolding, and a lot of people do. And that's why Twitter is so fraught.
Yes.
Because those are the tones. It's the kind of people who scold people.
Right.
And then the kind of people who react poorly to scolding, i.e. all of fucking Trump country.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And
that's the toxicity in our country right now and our dialogue is there's a certain percentage of people I've realized that you can't fucking scold or the conversation's over.
Right.
You know, because they're hearing their fucking father.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, there's no winning with there's certain things where it's like there's no winning with like my therapist says, what do you hope to get out of it? There has to be something I'm getting out of it. If it's just like I want to release this anger, right? That's fine. But most of the time it's not that clear.
Is sort of a healthy thing to do sometimes.
But when you're not sure why you're in it,
right?
And that's where it was like
Joel Madison genuinely likes fucking with people. Mm-hmm. Like it's a love.
He does enjoy
It's a
that.
pastime of his, and it always has been. He's done it in many media as technology has grown. You know, he was an early adopter on AOL. You know,
so what he would get into arguments with people.
Not just getting into arguments. It's more like making people look stupid. You know, through lines of questioning. You know.
Like on
trying to out their true character.
You mean like on these tight circle things? Or
Whatever it was. You know, it's like, now it's like fucking telemarketers he likes to keep on the line. You know? So, but it's fairly healthy.
Right. Well, no, because actually what he's doing there is a little bit like what Colin Quinn does, except not as pronounced. Like Colin Quinn. He's shielded on Twitter by not being himself exactly.
Right.
So it almost, you can't pierce it.
Right.
And it's an enjoyable thing for him. But he knows what he's doing.
So it appears.
Who
knows what the fuck's going on?
Well, yeah, I know. He's got some right-wing views that I don't understand.
He might have a hit list of people.
But when I look at the Ari Shaffir thing, to me that's like there's something so self-destructive. I particularly see with him there's something so self-destructive about him that he's basically going, yeah.
Yeah, but that's just nihilism, you know? That's just like, I'm going to light this match and then we'll watch it burn together, you know?
Yeah.
That's, in some ways there's something healthy about it, you know, despite the fact that it's rude and fucked up.
Yeah.
You know? But in some ways it's him, you know, he does have the healthier attitude about Twitter, which is they can't hurt me.
Well, he does that, but it's just like a.
But it's also become his thing.
Yeah, if your thing is I'm a reckless asshole,
right? It doesn't make me want to hang with him,
right?
You know, but it's not. The outrage is what he's going for, so therefore, it's like giving him a laugh.
Absolutely, and but the thing I realize about it is that without beating myself up, which is what my first thing I used to do, and I still can do, I would like it to not engage anybody on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like on these 95% of the things that go wrong.
I had some jagoff giving me a 5-tweet Trump thread today.
Yeah.
It's like,
what are you going to do?
I'm not going to answer back on that. Why? You just told me your worldview. I'm not going to change it with my response. Why get into that? You know?
Right. But the thing is that when I can keep an eye, if I remember, you're worried about your own view of yourself, then you don't tend to get involved like at that level. I'm just saying, like, when I see what Dave Anthony's doing, how he's like cutting off so many friends in his life and people are blocking, it's like, he is the quintessential Bernie bro. Right. He really is saying you are wrong if you're not a socialist, and I think that, but it's coming from the position of scold, right?
You know, which is never going to be productive,
and also that he's more moral, than everybody. That was
absolutely.
He's like, I guess you don't mind drone strikes, Andy. Oh, how do you argue with that guy?
Right. I like the good ones.
Yeah. And then it's like, but I'm pretty amazed. Like the stuff with Bernie is pretty amazing because I know this one guy, David Sirota, who was one of his guys, who's really a horrible guy. He's like a really mean, there's so many mean, quote, leftist people, the okay boomer people.
I just tweeted yesterday, the thing I love about Bernie is how he wants to help everybody, but has patience for nobody.
He really doesn't. What did he say when he was ice creaming Steyer? He was like, okay.
All right, good.
Okay. Good.
All right, good.
Are they been seen together a lot or something? Is it Steyer like?
They've been on a few stages together. But, you know, I mean, Bernie can't be nice to billionaires. That would be so off-brand, you know?
I didn't realize that. He can't be. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
Give some of
See you
your money
later,
to kids.
billionaire boy.
So I am trying to extract myself from the drama of what's going to happen because I know it's just going to aggravate me.
Yeah, it's not, you know, it's not a good year to.
It's a crazy year.
Yeah.
But I do think that you really do see the downsides of Twitter because, you know, these people are like, I like to joke. You know, it's like, I like to joke about 13-year-old kids getting killed. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's so easy to dislike so many people because everyone acts like there's a pack of reporters outside their door.
Come on, you reporters.
What's your take? What's your take? We have to know. What's your take? Let us in.
Of course, like any normal Jew, I did spend a certain amount of time saying to myself, I'm never getting on a helicopter. I don't want to be on a helicopter. I'm certainly not going to be on a 9-seat helicopter. And it sounded like they
Why was a 9-seat helicopter?
Because then it sounds like you're tempting fate.
Why?
Because a chopper is what they have on. Have you ever seen MASH?
I have.
A chopper
indeed.
comes in.
Yeah.
And I don't know, with the point of view of the mask on his face. I don't remember. Maybe I'm mixing up movies.
You want to lay in the bed on the side? Is that what you'd rather be in?
No, I'm just saying that I don't like helicopters. I really don't like them. And they seem to like, it's not called Boeing 737 down, is it? That movie?
Yeah, I think you used the wrong fucking plane as your example of safety.
No, but the 737s are okay. No, is it the MAX that's bad?
Yeah, the 737 MAX.
But don't they have ones that are old, just 737s?
Yes, they do.
Doesn't that complicate it?
Just let me make my little joke and move on, for God's sakes. You're the one.
Do you know the joke I was going for, though?
Yeah.
Black Hawk Down.
Yeah, I got it.
Funny, right? That's funny. 72 degrees, downtown Los Angeles, whatever.
You are the kind of person who would worry about Somali shoulder rockets.
Tonight, it's all memories of Kobe Bryant from Andy Kindler, who's having a lot of trouble even remembering regular things. So, Andy, what was your favorite part of the Kobe Bryant franchise?
His middle name was Bean.
I remember when he went away, and he didn't go away, Andy. He stayed on the... Oh, no. Shaqy. When did Shaq... I don't want to know when Shaq came, but Shaq came from Miami.
No, he didn't. He came from Orlando.
He went to Miami after.
Yes.
And then he ended up hating Pat Riley. Not a fan. Not a fan, sir.
Well, he won a championship there.
You sure?
Yes, with Dwayne Wade.
And we'll be back with one guy who knows basketball and one guy who's questions... He doesn't know much, but he questions the other person's knowledge. Well, the other thing was, and this is a very, very selfish thing that I do, is whenever there's a tragedy, and I'm talking away from the tragedy, it's not me getting in there, but I'm always annoyed because I didn't want anything to take away from Trump being impeached.
Yeah.
But that's a stupid idea because let me get back to my Trump. That's not helping either, my Trump obsession.
Well, but also, it's okay when the news overshadows the defense presentation, isn't it?
Well, that's true. You know, I also think it's the idea of, like, when someone, like, you love dies or someone who's been a major figure dies, and you get into the coverage as it's happening, or even if it's an accident or something,
right,
you can kind of watch it for a few hours. But if you try and come back in later and you just see these packages running 20 minutes out of every hour, drives you nuts.
No, eventually you get bludgeoned by the same thing over and over.
Right. Do you play basketball?
No.
You have played?
Yes.
Okay. Did you enjoy? I mean, I've enjoyed playing. I'm not good at it.
I was never good at it.
Yeah.
When I played, I didn't understand I understand the game way more now than I did when I played.
Right.
And I never was in a situation where I had like real coaching or anything, you know.
Yeah. Well,
the last time I played was like in a comics league in Minneapolis. We played like once a week at a church basement court.
That's pretty cool. Was there any sport you probably told me this? Was there a sport you did like playing?
Not with any passion. I
So
played
did you play-
everything when I was a kid.
Did you play like Little League Baseball?
I played Little League Baseball.
Get outta here.
Yeah. And I played, flag football, and I played soccer,
And you went to the religious school 3 times a week?
yeah.
It's just unbelievable.
I know.
Oh, man. I loved playing basketball. Now I think back, I loved playing. I wished I'd been better at basketball. I loved playing. But that's how I broke my arm in high school, was when they said break ranks, and I had to go to the, if I made it to the foul line and made a foul shot, I could pick the team. Otherwise, they never picked me. It's a sad story. It's a sad story, really.
It is.
It's not sad. I'm a white kid who grew up in Queens, a Jew who grew up amongst other Jews in Queens. What's sad about it?
Also, 5'6".
5'6". That was sad. Short. But really, I grew up with privilege. In fact, I used to tell the other kids, "Excuse me, make room for me and my privilege."
I liked the fencing team. I liked that.
Well, we've talked about this, right?
Yes.
We took different kinds, though. I took saber, and you took.
I was a foil guy.
I would like to do, if I could live life again, if I could go back a second time, I would maybe have took more fencing, because I really loved it when I took it.
Yeah, I liked
but I
it
don't
too.
want to take it now. Should me and you do it?
I thought when I first moved out here, I looked into it. There was a fencing club in Burbank. I don't know if it's still there, but
But we'd have to be separated again, because I wouldn't go for that thing. I wanted the slashing.
well, I was in the junior. I was in the junior ranks. And,
Oh, so you were really good.
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't ranked, but I was with.
Yeah. That was the area.
And every once in a while, you'd be at a meet, and it would be like an 11-year-old. So I was 15, I guess.
Oh, but who was just like
just like a little kid who you could literally just sort of stick your arm out and let them walk into the tip of your sword.
well, what, you were in the wrong division?
Well, there just wasn't that many delineations.
Well, that's
It was youth fencing.
Also, when I was a kid, I played years of 3-on-3 tackle football. Like just in the streets.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I did all that.
I loved
my
that.
neighborhood growing up. Luckily, I had a skinny best friend. So
That you could throw around?
no, just that was active and
Oh.
and coordinated.
Well, I forget that you had.
I was a fat kid, so but I was an active fat kid.
Yeah. I believe you. I don't know why I said that last thing.
I was luckily really coordinated, so I would get the occasional home run or the occasional great catch. To like.
I like the way it starts with you weren't that good, and now all of a sudden you did a Willie Mays-like catch.
I had a couple of pretty amazing catches, actually.
That's cool.
But, I wasn't an in-demand player. I was the guy who was picked last, but then would make a play.
You had spunk then.
I had spunk.
Well, I watched the, who was talking about, okay, well, people start talking today about it.
Finish the. You watched the.
The Curb, the new season of Curb.
Oh, God, yeah. I did, too.
Okay, so how many did you see?
I've watched both of this season.
Oh, 2?
There's 2 this season so far.
No, there's more. It's like 3 or 4.
No, there's not. You're wrong.
There's at least 3.
No, there's 2.
Episodes?
Yeah, this season so far.
How much I bet the 3rd episode's out? Because I'm not that stupid.
I don't want to bet anything.
Why am I betting? Stop it. You're right. Who cares? Who cares? I've gone down this road before. Either I'm wrong and I've annoyed you.
I know last week was the premiere and this week was the second show.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just shut up. Everybody, maybe the first one is a preview.
Maybe.
Could be.
Maybe it was the last one of last season.
So I don't remember the format where I heard you talking about it. Was it with Alex? Maybe it was with Alex.
I think it was with Alex at lunch the other day.
But then when Tim Heidecker said it's the best show he's ever seen or that's currently on TV, I said, I've got to look at this show.
Yeah.
And I clearly did not agree with that decision.
Yeah, I am officially hate watching at this point.
And that's the thing, too, about that show is that I will watch every episode of it, I'm sure. I've watched every episode of the old show.
Yeah.
But what's your gripes?
Well, my gripes are the same, I think, as they've been in the past. Though I don't remember last season. I remember I didn't like it.
Right.
But it's just, it sucks is what's wrong with it. It's a bunch of people shouting. You know, the scenes are clearly unwritten. The plot contrivances are like fucking neon lights heading down Broadway.
Yes.
You know,
and they're trying to create
as if neon lights travel. That's how how telegraphed they are. You know, and much like the Ari Shaffir tweet, it's just how comically despicable can I be? You know, and I'm tired of scenes ending with, but, I was just,
What was that? What did he do?
Just the way that he sustains a misunderstanding.
Oh, yeah.
That someone speechifies and he's just sitting there sputtering, you know, as opposed to just going, well, actually what happened was.
Right. Why? Well, he acts like he's in silent movies sometimes.
He does.
Where he's just like over gesturing. And
everything is indicating because there's no fucking dialogue to remember an act, you know. It's a bunch of objectives in a scene and he comes out screaming and so everyone has to fucking scream along with him to make it work as a scene.
There's two techniques I see people deal with him. The one technique is they scream along, or the other technique, and you can tell this, is that they're purposely not trying to be funny.
Right.
Funnier than him.
Right.
And because I just have heard that about him, that he doesn't want you to be, I don't know, fake funny or whatever the thing is. But like that lawyer, I thought was reeling it in the first episode.
Yeah.
Like everybody.
That was the second episode.
Oh, he wasn't on the first episode too, the lawyer?
I don't think so.
Oh,
but the whole sexual harassment thing is just like is insulting.
It trivializes an actual thing.
Yeah.
And so I know he's going, that's not what I'm doing. I'm doing my own purpose. This is how Larry looks at it.
Right.
But it just comes off as like weirdly insensitive because it makes the actual movement look like it's a bit, like it's a...
Right.
Well, now everyone looks... I mean, it is funny that he looks like Harvey Weinstein or...
Yeah.
So, I love Richard... Here's the things I love. I love Richard Lewis. I just love to watch him. Huge fan of him. I think he's great. And I love Severio Guerra, who I worked with a long time ago. Mocha Joe.
Yeah.
And I saw other people. I mean, he gets good people, but it's just so unrealistic.
That's Allison Jones, the casting.
Yeah, she's good. Yeah. I know, right?
But, you know, I'll keep hate watching it probably because it's on Sunday nights and my DVR records it now. But it makes me mad. It really mostly makes me mad.
Well, I know
but Seinfeld started to make me mad at the end, too, at the same thing.
No
Everything
question.
was just like, okay, you've formatted this show so tightly that we see everything that's going to come back.
Right, and that was the worst part of Seinfeld, was when it was like, not the worst part, but when it got old. You know,
right.
We just didn't care. But
at least then, you know, at least with Seinfeld, those things were constructed.
Sure, this is even less constructed.
This is just this sloppy thing.
Well, they're just bullet points they hit.
Yeah, and you feel that in every scene.
I wrote them down for you. So here's like, because I knew it was like, okay, first one was the Happy New Year runner bit.
Uh-huh.
So that's the other thing, is you can tell with him, you can see almost everything coming down the street. Now, I couldn't necessarily see that coming down the street, but I knew it was going to come back, and then it did play itself out. It came back 9 to 10 times.
Yeah.
I thought the thing with Phil Rosenthal was funny, but the thing with this ventriloquism thing where they're both laughing, that was uncomfortable to me. Like, it seems like...
Yeah, it was like a scene from the Dick Van Dyke Show.
And then when Ted Danson says, "Oh, don't kiss him, he's got a cold," it's her.
I don't really want to dissect every beat of these shows. I really don't. I agree with you that virtually every choice was annoying and bad.
All right. Well, then you can't completely stop me, because the other thing that if I could point out something different in my comments, so like, did you do the big goodbye? That's where he's already trying to introduce the current next slogan, like side sitting.
Right.
So that to me is really clunky.
Yeah, it is.
And you have to agree that everybody, more than the person who came up with the idea of the big goodbye, that it's a thing in society.
Right.
All right, that's better, right?
No, not really.
Why not?
Because you would have to actually see the show to know what the fuck you're talking about.
This will be my last thing I say before I do two more things. He lost me at the first scene where he breaks someone's selfie stick over his knee.
Yeah.
Because I think I always wanted that show to be realistically funny. Are you up for a part on the show?
Not yet.
Is that what it is?
Not yet. No, I just want this to not be something I have to edit out because it's so
I'm done.
boring.
I mean, I'll make one more comment, and
right.
you can say it's boring and still cut it out. Where no one puts talcum powder. I mean, it's not a sketch show. That's the problem. Someone's putting talcum powder. Who in real life goes up to somebody and goes, "You're using too much talcum powder, pal"?
All right.
Is it the Abbott and Costello show?
That's one of the flaws of the entire show is that it's always
Fake.
It's always fake. Yeah, it's always some construct.
People talk about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but I've never really. Is that a good show, or is that like?
I haven't watched enough of them, but I like. I'm certainly impressed by the little fiefdom that they created with it.
And that's all improv too, but it looks more written than The Curb.
I don't know.
Did you get a new clock, or did you get your clock fixed?
I got my clock cleaned. It is a new clock because the previous clocks ceased to work.
Well, then I could never be a witness in the case because you could convince me that was the one that was there before.
It was there last week.
Oh, that I didn't know. But last week I was so excited about Jen.
Yeah, and you were facing the other way.
Well, that I would not remember. But no, I do remember. Wait a second. She was where you are. Oh,
nope, she was where you are.
This is why I don't.
You were to my left.
Aha. So, is there anything else that I need to catch you up on? What time is it now? Is it? Let me see what time it is. It's not time for a break yet, I don't think.
It's getting close.
Yeah, but you're not going to include any of my hilarious story. Hilarious story about. Okay. I'm starting to understand what you're saying. You're saying every example is the same example of bad comedy,
right? And
I think is
people
bad.
aren't actually hearing the joke that you're referring to,
right? So
you
I just
comment on it. So when you
I'm hoping you hop in and go, yeah, that was the worst thing I ever saw. I can't believe it. He tells a 9-month pregnant woman to stop jogging. All right, look, folks. All I'm saying was I was confused by the reaction online. Like, for a second, I thought it was going to be something more than just a new Spectrum original.
Yeah.
In fact, I thought for a while that maybe it was on Spectrum, but it's not. I know it's on HBO.
He's on the Spectrum.
And then there's 2 movies about the Atlanta bombing. Spectrum has made their own series about the Atlanta bombing thing.
Really?
You know it. You don't see the ads?
No.
You don't watch TV. We have the same cable system, right?
We do, yeah. Maybe I just haven't.
It's something we bond with. Are you on the silver package?
I thought they were just advertising the Richard Jewell movie coming.
No, it's not. It's a whole. That's how boring it looks.
Yeah.
Why is it all of a sudden? Didn't that happen in the past? What is it, like the anniversary?
It's not, actually. It was 1996.
So 2016 should have been a whole hubbub.
I'm friends with someone who was part of the security team on that Olympics. A little bit of a stain on his record.
This is how you talk about your friend? That's terrible. It wasn't his fault, was it?
No.
Oh, okay. You are totally kidding about it.
I mean, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding that it's a little bit of a stain on his security record. When
Well, he
people
wasn't
see
in
it.
charge.
No, but he was pretty high up. He wasn't like a guy in a
You should not be
windbreaker.
talking about this guy. Please tell me that you're not going to be talking about me on some podcast years from now. My friend, first of all, what happened there? I mean, did anybody get killed?
Where?
At Atlanta.
Yeah.
A bomb went off.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you save me the money on the Spectrum series and the movie and tell me who? It wasn't Richard Jewell, right?
No, Richard Jewell was a security guard who cleared people away and did, in fact, save lives.
So he was right,
But
and
then they thought he was some weirdo who planted the bomb and then tried to look like a hero by saving people from it.
and it did kind of ruin his life, right?
It kind of did, yeah. They were very public about his person of interest-dom, and then not very public about his we're no longer interested.
Well, that's what if you like the true crime, you start to get the feeling that you don't want to go on trial anywhere if you can avoid it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look like
My dread really starts at the handcuffs. And then-
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think
Smack me around. A Wild Bill Bauer for you.
A little throwback to the...
And call me a bad boy.
Right. But do you ever think of yourself if you went to, like, you'd have no problem if you had to go to jail?
No, I've never thought for a second.
You know,
I would
you
have
feel
no
it's
problem.
horrible, right?
I have, that's, I don't know that I have a bigger
Fear, but it's pretty up there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing I want to do least in life, I think.
Yeah. And
I'd rather go to an office.
you'd rather write for a sitcom.
I know.
Well, that's what you meant by go to an office.
Yeah.
Why do I have to? Well, because I thought it was a. It is weird though how writing on a staff is like an office job. Is the most like an office job.
Yeah.
Right. In terms of the unpleasant side of it, no, because you say you actually like the part where you're all sitting around and throwing ideas around.
I don't mind that.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. It's been so long, I don't mind any of it at the moment.
You know what, Andy? I wouldn't mind having to mind it.
Exactly.
I think this is the year where where this podcast goes through the roof because it's so dependent on stunt things.
Yeah.
We did Jen Kirkman, for example. Boom.
Boom.
What's that sound for?
It was just sort of the circus-like stunty atmosphere.
And I also want to say, in addition to preschool Shark Tank, I can still, on a sad day, or any day really, start to conjure a scene I've never seen, which is a woman ambling up to you or shambling past you.
That's what I'm here for, the cotton candy grapes.
That's still gold to me. Now, a lot of the listeners seem fixated on James Mason.
Yes.
Do you have any idea, as James Mason, do you have an idea why it took off so big?
I'd like to think it's my level of sophistication. I'd like to think it's fantasy fulfillment. That people like to believe that they're so sophisticated that they'd be listening to the James Mason podcast.
Well, you are...
A blend of Hollywood stories and adventure and romance.
Now, why is it that always reminds me it's not the same person, but I always want to follow that up with Bobby.
It is not the same person.
I know, but Bobby. Get out of here, Bobby.
We're shutting down the program, Kindler.
Don't shut down the program.
We're shutting down the program.
What about Bobby? That I found out that actually is a true story. That one, the clones.
Yeah.
Because I still can't believe that we watched that movie in a way. That movie to me, I don't know if that's...
I don't need anybody bad-mouthing my movie, particularly some insolent Jew.
Why do I like to be mocked as a Jew?
Why do I like to be mocked as a Jew? Blah, 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 blah.
Because I know you're not a real Nazi.
Because I know you're not a real Nazi. Blah, 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 blah.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say to you.
Say that from inside. Never mind.
Here's what I'm going to say to you. You said you didn't know going in. I don't know if we said this at a meal or whatever, but you must have known your whole life that you did voices.
No, yes.
Right, maybe because you
I always knew I could make, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like singing especially.
Can you do a baby crying at all?
No, I haven't worked on
No,
that
but
one.
you haven't tried it? Because I could... It's such joy. Gruber is also. Would you say Gruber is good with voices?
Gruber's good with voices. He's not like a.
He's not a man of a million voices.
He's not a mimic. He's more of a. He can do characterizations, I would say.
Well, the Todd Carlin to me is as rich as Larry Sanders in many
yes,
ways.
Gruber is brilliant at taking the things a lot of people wouldn't notice about things, and putting them front and center. Gruber's going to come stay here for almost a week in a few weeks.
And am I going to come over and we're going to hang out?
Sure.
What doesn't he? What does he not like to eat? Does he like to go to delis like us? Or
He loves the food.
He doesn't get nervous around the Jews?
But he and I are going to do some live shows this year together, so we're going to spend a couple days writing.
Well, wait a second. I certainly wasn't informed. Are you going to have Mark Feit's character in there?
No.
So it's just going to be not a two-headed dog, just you.
It's me and Gruber.
You and Gruber.
Doing music-y, comedy-ish stuff.
That's going to be great. And I want a piece of that action.
You're in. Your job will be to get us gigs.
He says you're almost like that guy on the commercial where they go, you can recommend anybody for clean my desk? Yes, and also make the appointment for 3 weeks next Friday. I'm sorry. I just want to apologize because I listened to that thing about awareness, and I really and they say don't attach to the individual things, just attach to the general sense that you're blowing it.
Perfect.
And that's what it is. I'm now aware that I'm a horrible human being.
Have you done any sets last week?
This is an odd thing. I haven't done sets since January 1st, I don't think, or maybe, I haven't done.
Okay.
I am supposed to be doing a reading tomorrow night.
Oh, this is the Grown Ups 3?
Right. But do you want to get to some sets? Is that what you're asking? Because I'll get some support. You want to go a couple places together, or?
No, I was really just asking for the break. If you had any sets.
Here's the thing that's amazing to me. Why do people torture me? You know that I'm going to take everything either wrong or ice cream like. Why don't you say, do you have anything to provide for the goddamn break? You couldn't say that?
I'm sorry.
No, angry.
Fuck you.
Okay.
Here's a song. Spock, sabotage the system. You say sabotage. I say sabotage.
Sabotage. Spock must
sabotage the system.
Bones. No, you never asked me for my old impressions, my H. Ross Perot or my...
I have. You just don't remember.
Here's the deal, see? Hey, Larry.
Do H. Ross Perot not on the Larry King Show?
Now look, Eddie. That giant sucking sound, I can't do it anymore.
See, that's the trick to a good impression, is taking it out of the 3-word phrase you practiced with.
Well,
sure, I started with Lolita, A bubble of poison in my loins. But then I moved on.
I know. You don't have to lord it in my face.
I do have to lord it
You
in
should.
your face.
That was my least favorite James Mason movie, Lord It in My Face. Towards the end. I have found myself in the last couple of weeks.
That was Allison MacLeod, by the way. You can check out all her music at AllisonMacLeod.bandcamp.com.
And if you like my music,
check out former episodes of the show in the middle.
Yeah. And if you like my cooking, all right, I can't stop. Now I will. Andy, stop. You're not helping the show. You're not helping yourself. This is the second meditation show I listened to him. Said not only
It looks like.
They look like. They look like. They look like. They're not yoga.
It looks like mindfulness, but it's not. It's just mumbo jumbo.
I would love him to do a meditation show. You are not your thoughts.
You are not your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You are not your thoughts.
Repeat it after me.
You are not your thoughts.
You are not.
You are not your thoughts.
Hello, I'm the Australian case file guy, and I want you to. I can't do it, precious. I want you to listen to my new podcast. You are not your thoughts.
You are not your thoughts.
Have you ever thought about what your thoughts were?
You're not your thoughts.
Sponsored by GoCaddy. 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 When you need a caddy for your golf game.
It looks like a slave, but it's not. It's a caddy.
Did you ever have a remote control caddy? I loved them.
A golf cart?
No, it's where you keep all your remote controls.
Oh, yeah.
It's one caddy for all your remote controls.
I did. His name was Sam.
Ooh. Is that it? You had a guy who came in?
He was my remote control caddy, yes. Sam, I believe I need a JVC.
By the way, since you brought it up,
Yes.
what company is JBL? What company is JBL owned by now?
Bose.
No, it's Harman.
Okay.
Ask me what, and they go, Andy, isn't that Harman Kardon? I don't see Kardon anywhere around. I think Harman is. You know, Josh, I took recording engineering for a semester at school, so I actually know a little bit about editing.
Doot, doot. A different engineer.
Well, now it's time to go to letters.
Nice segue.
Yes.
Howdy, mine.
This week's letters are brought to you by Jen Kirkman. I'm Jen Kirkman. Come see me live around the country. I'm Jen Kirkman saying, please come see me. Did I already say it? That's Jen Kirkman. Please go see her live.
It's nice that we got her to record those little bumpers before she left.
Hey, thought spiralers. If you liked my appearance last week, you'll love me in Tuscaloosa. I sound just like her.
You do. Shh, damn. You ruined the illusion.
Don't sigh like that.
I did. I was inhaling.
Oh, that's better. I think I'm very charming this week. I mean, I'm not like, I'm a little off, but I'm not off in a way that's making you the bad guy.
That's true. It's true. It's a subtle distinction, but I do want to kill you less than a normal glitchy week. Yeah.
That's what I aim for. I mean, I aim for surviving the interaction.
You aren't bludgeoning me with your confusion this week, which I like.
Yeah. I don't see any upside to that. I don't think you'll ever go, Andy, it was so great last week when you started to say things and you couldn't remember what you were saying.
Yeah, work that angle.
Work that angle because it's so much fun. It's like, it's like almost stream of consciousness with you. It's Andy, your lack of material never connects with your other lack of material.
All right, this is going to be good. Seth Dick III says, Andy, do you remember Gasoline Alley? My dad referred to it as Skeezix.
Mm-hmm. I know it's a classic comic strip. I don't know anything about it.
That was in reference to my. I tweeted after Trump wrote, "Our case against lying, cheating, little Adam, shifty Schiff, crying Chuck Schumer, nervous Nancy Pelosi, their leader, dumb as a rock AOC, and the entire radical left." That's right. He's got his own little Gasoline Alley going on in his head.
Shifty Schiff. Boy, I tell you, that one's taken off.
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ. M. Ledsome says, I'm an orphan, and two of my great comedy heroes, Jones and Innes, recently passed. That'd be Terry Jones and Neil Innes.
Oh.
I was very sad about Terry Jones. I'm contemplating the futility of legacy whilst teaching 16-year-olds who don't know who Olivier is. Seriously, it's all so pointless. So my question is this why pastrami sucks in the UK?
I do see the connection. The connection is whatever happened to good pastrami.
Yeah.
And what's up with death?
The problem with, I think, pastrami in the UK is they're good at the boiling meats there.
That's not the problem.
But the smoking, they aren't
That's
so
right.
good at.
Well, isn't their cuisine
Even
general?
a banger has very little flavor.
But generally, it's supposed to be upgraded now over there.
Absolutely.
The food. I've been there.
Absolutely. I think there is a lot more good food to be had there now. But I don't know that the baseline of taste is really.
I do think that I believe now that as people around me are passing away and Kobe passes away, it does seem like everyone's dying, but that's just because of my age. Everyone's always been dying.
Yeah.
And because Trump creates a circus.
But we're about to hit this patch of boomer legends dying. That's going to be,
Right. Yeah. But it reminds me, though, of how many people have been here. I can't think of what I'm saying, but people who are like 75 years old.
Right.
So that's what I'm looking at.
Right.
And they're still Martin Short, all these people, 70 years old, whatever they are.
Right.
Or 70 years old. So,
well, but the Beatles, Stones, Dylan, those guys, they're 80.
I know. No, that's right. Because like John Lennon was born. Have I told you that upset me, the John Lennon thing? He would have been 80 years old this year.
Yeah.
And so in a lot of ways, you could say it's better that he died then, so I don't have to be sad again. No. But this is something crazy about, and I don't even think you can say anything about it because it's all a cliche kind of things. But when someone like Kobe, when people do die in their prime, it does. It's like an indelible. It just becomes a symbol of what might have been, not in a sad way even, but you're never going to have an 80-year-old Kobe or an 80-year-old John Lennon. So you're always going to think about them differently, those people.
Yeah, and it's great for legend embellishment. But
yes.
It's bad for the people who wanted them around.
Right, right.
But yeah, no, it freezes these people in amber in a Bruce Lee, Jim Morrison, Marilyn Monroe kind of place, Well,
I read this. I think I told you I read this article in the New Yorker about grief, and the basic point that the woman was making was that the more you love something, the more grief you have, and that in some ways, you're never done with grief over certain things. But without it sounding treacly, she was basically saying that to the degree that you love and you have those feelings, that's how much those memories are going to be searing for you, and that shows how much you love the person. It shows how much they meant to you.
Yeah, and I guess it's a semantic issue in some ways too, but I feel like you do get over grief, in some ways, but it depends on what you define grief as, that I define grief as that sadness being the prevailing feeling in your life.
Right.
And I think, that's what mourning is, at least. Grief, I guess, can be something less Talon-like on you. But, I associate true grief with that, where it is front-of-mind pain.
Yeah.
As opposed to, if I think about it, I can be sad, which is how, as time goes on, it's more like that, There are times where you think about these people and they make you happy, or and there's times where you come through and it hits you and you realize how much you miss them, or, it's usually happy moments really that you tend to miss your parents,
Right.
There's plenty of things I wish they could have seen,
Well, I know that I have a lot of anticipatory fear and anxiety, but I know that you can't predict how it's going to be. But I know that when we have to sell the house that I grew up in, it's going to be. I haven't heard anybody say that doesn't do something to you. Bring up memories.
Yeah. Well, I wrote that song, 7 Steps Down.
Oh yeah.
When I was in that process. It's It's weird being on the other side of it. That's so far now in my past. It's weird that I have friends in their 60s who have teenage kids, and I'm in my 40s and I have a kid in in his 30s.
Right. Doesn't make sense.
Like I have these friends who are like looking for schools for their kids. I'm like, yeah, I remember that sucked 20 years ago. It's very bizarre.
Well, it's everything is weird to me. I mean, I am more and more attracted or keep going back to the Buddhist idea of attachment, because I have been enjoying the holidays way more like this last year by absolutely not expecting to find the great Christmas movie or to subject myself to watching a movie I've watched 80,000 times. It's like I'm not going to reach back, or I'm not going to feel guilty about how long I stared at the tree.
Right.
And so I really do feel like that feels like you're losing that childlike. I'll never forget that childlike discovery of a new toy or whatever the thing was.
Right.
And the fact
but you don't have to forget it.
Right. It's a memory, but you also don't have to have the feeling of the instant gratification is all it is. And when that fades, like if I don't look forward to Christmas morning like I was 12, that means I'm not digging. No, none of those things are true. It's not any less. It's just you're allowing the current thing to just happen without projecting historical things on it. So when I go through my house, I just know I've blocked out so many things that I'm looking at through therapy that I know just being back in all those rooms and like the basement where my brother and I would play basketball with a rubber ball.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say, but anytime you have a sort of checklist of emotions you're supposed to feel, or then you're not coming from a place that's going to end good.
I mean? It can't. It's just you're right. I mean, that's the thing. It's like I used to think every thought that was in my mind, like if I thought my mom's going to die, like if I think about anything, anything about after she dies. Right. I used to be able to say, why are you thinking this? Or why are you thinking that? And I'm really getting better at realizing that thoughts are not, that everybody has thoughts and you really shouldn't attach to them. So you shouldn't be like beating yourself up because you're not crying or
you are not your thoughts.
You are not your thoughts.
You are not your thoughts.
So, I don't know. It's going to be, I don't know when it's going to happen. It's kind of weird.
Well, I also think that, it's a weird game you play with yourself, and not just you. I don't mean to like go, you're stupid.
Yes.
But when you're trying to recapture what was also your unhappiest time, you know what I mean? It's a dangerous game, because you're trying to tap into you're trying to cherry pick these feelings from your childhood to reignite without reigniting the bad ones that are adjacent.
It's
very it's threading the needle.
I don't think you can go. I mean, I'm assuming that I'm going to go into it not, I know it's going to be whatever, and it's whatever happens during it, I'm sure will come up.
Are we talking about going to see your mom?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I haven't been in my attic. I know there are childhood things that I never have looked at again. You went through all those. Did you have those things when mom and dad's house where
you get into a mode where you become both very sentimental and completely unsentimental about some shit just because of the vast quantity of stuff you have to deal with.
Did you take like time off of your life when those things happened? Did you like?
Yeah, I think I stayed at my mom's house for a couple of weeks after she died, just to do what I could, because my brother was sort of going to get the brunt of things.
Yeah,
because he lived there. But I did try to. I think I was there for at least a week, or I think I was there for a week after she died, and then I came back for a week a couple months later to do the real heavy lifting.
Right.
But not a fun job.
Yeah.
It's revelatory in some ways, because it's there's a anthropological thing about your parents that comes up. You find all the shit. You find find all
exactly.
the stuff they've been hiding from everybody, and you have to look at it because you have to go through it now, So you're not even violating a trust really at this point,
You mean I might find the world's first condom? No, you can be like, I can't imagine finding letters. Like, I don't think
I found letters from my dad to my mom, and
I really feel like my parents were not like anybody else's parents. I think it's the way that I look at it. It's like first of all, I have an incorrect image of what everybody else's parents are like.
Right.
I always thought everyone else's parents were all very well behaved and their families weren't crazy.
Yeah.
And I thought I was the only crazy family.
I always felt like I was in a good position because of how much everyone else liked my parents.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, kids like everyone liked my dad because he was funny.
Yeah. And smart. Sous Vide says, I DVR the Australian Open because it's on overnight. Andy, do you and your overnight pal Adderall take in the tennis from down under?
Stop saying Adderall every time.
He actually said, does your overnight pal Addy, and then parenthetically, Adderall, take in the tennis from down under?
All I think of is like, any time that I would take Adderall, they're going to be showing 12 to 4 in the morning. They're showing them. It's like I start to get a little, But the point is putting my own misbehaviors, if that's a word, aside. Yeah.
What are Andy Kindler's 2 most confusing words in the English language?
What's that?
As needed.
Yes, I'm here because I'm having trouble sleeping at night.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, I don't know why.
Maybe it's my 2 a.m. Adderall.
Oh, you think that's affecting it? Jesus Christmas. But I love it. I love the Australian Open. And as far as I know, please don't tell me. But, cause I'm a couple of days behind, but Federer was still in it last time.
I'm not telling you.
Yeah. And I want Federer to win. I want Nadal to lose. And then I'm it is the most amazing thing that these 3 or 4 people are still dominating the game. Pretty much.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other sport where so long. Well, there's no other sport like it, so you can't really compare it. It's like tennis. Golf.
I don't know. LeBron James has had a pretty good run.
Right, but he still has to play with the whole team.
Yeah, but
yeah,
he's pretty pivotal.
I don't know why you say that, but we'll be back with one guy who's trying to make an argument that doesn't make much sense. There are certain transcendent people, like in comedy, I would put me and you at the top of the thing of
Perush says, episode with Thought Spiral soul sister Jen Kirkman was fantastic. Was she doing a lot of Andy bits and voices? What missed the edit, Josh?
Ooh, what missed the edit, Josh?
I think I only took out about 10 minutes of stuff where we were just sort of repeating ourselves. And it was a pretty clean. It was actually much easier to edit than one of our usual shows because there was momentum throughout.
Yeah, because there was never a dull moment. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
And because nobody was trying.
Right.
Or thinking about trying.
Right.
And because Jen is maybe the funniest person in the world.
Loved her.
And here's the thing. I am leaving the Thought Spiral podcast late summer. Is it late summer yet? What is it? Late summer.
No, but I just got my first erection in years.
You know what happens when you take the Viagra? You've heard about it, right?
I've heard about it.
Okay, you take it, and it's just like you just sit down on the couch and you just wait.
Okay.
And then it goes.
It's like an edible.
It's unbelievable.
It's like it might kick in.
And then you don't know. Sometimes it's like 4 hours.
Yeah.
You're like, should I call? All right. That's a joke.
Which part?
Me having sexual dysfunction? Who, me? Hi, ladies. I don't want to brag, but I've had sexual dysfunction.
I got some pills since I had the trouble down south.
But that's not bad. Hi, I'm Andy Kindler. Do you call Roman? Roman's a new.
Is that the
the call-in thing? The father and the son. My father was a thing.
Is your dad there? My dick is fucked up.
Yeah, it just like by the end of that commercial, you just feel strange.
Why would I feel more comfortable talking to these people about my intimate problems?
I don't want to talk to my dad. That's all I know. Right. All I think of is my dad going to be there?
He's very smart.
My mother, did I tell you that his IQ goes up in my mother's memory every 3 weeks?
Yeah,
She's 180.
I know.
She said 180 again.
Did she?
Yeah.
After his time at the Manhattan Project.
My mother doesn't talk that way. I appreciate it. That's the way I make her talk. Adsy.
Yeah, see, I was just doing your impression.
Yeah.
Pam says, any Netflix recommendations? I'm finding news very stressful and need some escapes. What did I watch the other night? On Amazon, I watched the Iggy and the Stooges doc.
How was it?
It was Jim Jarmusch, and I was actually kind of disappointed with... it felt like an 80s doc, kind of. It felt like just the way he used stock footage to cover visuals and stuff was like...
Do you think it almost... Not almost...
It's not that good a story, either, is the thing.
Oh, it's not...
It's really not.
I felt it was interesting when he went on Mark Maron. I was fascinated.
No, I think Iggy himself is an interesting dude. But the story of Iggy and the Stooges is pretty compact.
Right.
And...
Not much of it.
There's not much to it.
So I was going to ask you, if not, you could be a great filmmaker, but there could be just not enough footage about somebody to make something work, right?
Well, I don't think it wasn't a footage problem so much. The things he chose to do some of them were just kind of like not inventive choices at all. But more than that, it's just about story. It's not about the amount of visuals you have.
Yeah.
It's about
I see. Right.
How do you tell
What are you telling the story?
Yeah.
Right. You could have a million great shots of something that's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there, if you care, it's worth seeing. But it's not.
I only care because I don't know. I would watch it because I don't know much about that group.
Right.
And interested. If there was a documentary about the Velvet Underground, I'd watch that. And there probably is.
I'm sure there is. But again, there's not much story there to the band.
Right.
It represented a moment more than a era.
I saw Patti Smith on Fallon.
Yeah.
I didn't plan it, but
she's cool.
And she was great. She sang Neil Young's After the Gold Rush, which was one of my favorite albums when it came out.
Yeah.
And she was great. I know so little about her.
Yeah.
Susan knows, followed her music, so. But it was a great appearance. I don't think never was on Johnny Carson, she said. She never went on that.
Makes sense, I guess. I bet she was on Tom Snyder, though.
Hey, I was wondering if she was on Letterman, too.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I seem to remember her doing Because the Night on Letterman. Or maybe it was Saturday Night Live. Mark Thompson says...
I'm Mark Thompson.
So I didn't actually have a Netflix recommendation for Pam.
Well, Netflix, I did enjoy, if it is on Netflix, I did like that Bhagwan Rish, but I don't know if you're going to like that. It's the cult thing that happened.
That's a pretty good one, though. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, in Oregon, the cult in Oregon. It's like it's a good binge watching thing.
Yeah. All right. Mark Thompson says, Jen Kirkman's visit was very enjoyable. I hope her Hallmark project goes through because I'm fascinated with that rom-com factory. I would love to ask her questions about it when her movie premieres.
That's great. And I would like to enjoy one of those Hallmark movies, but I never will.
No, I don't think I will.
I can't enjoy the kitsch of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have that. There's very little... there are some things I can still ironically love, I think. But...
Yeah, that's true. But I used to hate... Like, I knew... It very quickly got old for me watching bad stand-up. There was a time period where I loved it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, why am I... Watch, I can go to a club and be around it.
Right. I can live it.
I can live it.
I watched... I think we talked about this on the Jordan Jesse Go, but I watched Popeye, the Altman.
Yes, that's right.
And boy, it's hard.
Not a great movie.
Not a great movie, and I loved it when I was a kid, but it was because I had like 100% buy-in to Robin Williams.
Was the Robert Altman? No.
Yeah.
It's Robert Altman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it feels like a Robert Altman film, which is weird. Considering it's a Popeye cartoon, it's not a cartoon, but
so it does not hold up at all.
I won't say not at all because it's such a curiosity in a lot of ways, and Robin Williams was actually good in it.
Yes,
it was just sort of an impossible thing to make good.
Because to me, Popeye is one of the greatest things I ever saw when I was a kid. I have never revisited it that much.
No, but anytime you have a character, you have a device like that where you can bury jokes, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I have never. I'm trying to think of other. I don't know. I just realized. Have there been other live action things based on superheroes? And I just realized something's wrong with me. Something's seriously wrong with me.
But that was 1980. It was well before.
Yeah.
That was getting attempted on a regular basis.
I remember getting excited about seeing Dick Tracy because it was supposed to was shot with all these color things and.
Well, it was shot with only the 7 tones that were used in the comic strip.
Right.
That was the palette. He used the same palette as the ink in the strip.
But I don't remember
Which was a cool idea.
It was a cool idea. I don't remember anything about the movie.
It was okay. It was,
Yeah.
it was episodic feeling is my recollection.
I loved Dick Tracy on TV when I was a kid.
Was that the animated?
Yeah, I don't know what
was it animated or was it just panning across drawings?
Could have been panning across drawings. It's interesting to think that I didn't know the difference.
Right.
Because I was so
it was
young.
TV. That's all that mattered.
Well, I remember the wrist radio, but I don't remember sitting and reading the funnies that much in my life, but I must have.
I did. Mostly the Sunday.
Did you use Silly Putty on it?
Sure.
Why is that so fascinating?
That's awesome.
It was the toy that kept me occupied the longest period of time.
Yeah.
Because Etch-a-Sketch was like 2 hours, I was done.
Yeah. What were you doing in your third hour of Silly Putty play?
No. It's more, you know what it is? It's a combined memory of keeping it on the I love the way the egg looked. Like
It was awesome. No,
I
I
can
liked
really remember that joy of.
Stretches like taffy, breaks like a biscuit. Come on.
Yeah, it's great. Did you like handling fireworks too? I loved it. Like I was a little pyromaniac almost.
I was never
or gangster.
I wasn't as big as my dad was into it. Was into like silver salutes and M60s and stuff and M80s.
Wow.
And my brother got into it. I was kind of a pyro, but I wasn't that into fireworks.
I love the way
I don't
pack.
I don't like loud that much.
Right, but I love the way the packages looked of the black cats.
Just those bricks of black cat fireworks.
It's like
yeah.
baseball cards or something.
And it was naughty.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it was
really naughty. I wanted to be a criminal.
It felt like contraband.
Yeah, I wanted to be a thief.
It looked like something
Yes.
that got smuggled.
Oh, I can smell it now.
A brick of black cat fireworks looks like smuggling fodder.
Of course, I told you, I very much remember the time where I saw an older person be frightened by a firecracker I put off, and she was like, huh. And then something went in my mind where I went, people don't like this. You know what I mean? I could start to see how this is not going to end well. Scaring people.
Justin Faulkner says, Andy, thanks for letting me know about Dick and Paula. I never saw or heard about it here in Canada when it was first out. I was able to watch all 6 shows on YouTube, and it was a really nice companion piece to Dr. Katz and home movies.
How many episodes did you say?
2 of my favorite shows. It said 6.
I think there's more. I think there's like 13, but maybe they were never released. Maybe just the 6 were released. That's interesting. I don't even think I've seen the first. Is it on a DVD?
It's on YouTube, it says.
Oh.
So
Wow.
it's accessible to you.
I will go see it, and I'm really glad you saw it because it was really funny. Tom Leopold wrote on it, and H. John Benjamin was amazing on it because he would come on as I've already explained the whole thing. He would come on as historical people like Darwin,
Yeah.
and explain, like a talk show where they're interviewing historical figures.
Gotcha.
Do you think I'll ever get a job as what is it called, articulating thing?
A blurbist?
Well, just even like talking or writing or expressing myself well.
Probably not.
No.
I see you more as a head in a box, kind of a. Leah Beale says, it was brought up a couple episodes ago, but I don't think it was answered. How's Gruber? He's good.
He's good. He's coming to town, we
Yes,
think.
I'll give you a much fuller report at the end of February.
And also, we're ordering some boiled pastrami from Europe.
I've brought the finest pastrami from my homeland.
Is pastrami American? Probably.
No, it's more Eastern European, I think, initially.
And we don't have bratwursts or anything. And there's a whole category of meats that we don't really have good versions of here. Am I wrong about that? Could you make a thing that you could have in Germany They always say the
charcuterie sort of thing.
No, more like I think of it as all a hot dog, but they don't. They think of it like a sausage, and there's a whole area real sausages.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on. Like pretend I died or something.
I don't understand.
I don't feel well.
Okay.
Josh, maybe we should go back to the questions.
I won't pull out this string of sausages.
I'm sorry. Have you been to? Let me ask you this: you've been to I know Susan has, but have you been to like Germany and had that great sausages and stuff?
No, but I've been like to Kramarczyk's Sausage Deli in Minneapolis, and I've been to Jody Maroney's here in L.A.
And do you think do you think it's as good?
I think there are plenty of artisans making fantastic sausages
in our very country.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you tried Farmer John's?
The beefy, rich taste of Farmer John Braunschweiger.
You know, I've heard 5 or 6 anything buts, but I can't remember anything but.
Apparently, he thought it would make him remember. Anything but.
He's still alive, right?
Hell yes, he's alive.
How old is he?
A spry 92 years old.
I'm still angry at him for hating the NBA or something. Sorry. No, it was football. I forgot what he hated.
Bilal Zafar says, the Jen Kirkman episode was amazing. You should get her back on. Have you ever done an extreme diet like keto? Thanks.
Extreme who?
An extreme diet like keto.
Oh, no. And do you understand what it is? Is it just extreme Atkins? Is that what it is?
Yes. I did a sort of hybrid of keto and Atkins, and I lost about 50 pounds, and I've kept most of it off.
It's because your body eats its own fat, kind of, or I crudely not understand.
Well, the theory of it is that you start to burn fat instead of sugar for energy.
Okay.
It tricks your body into doing that by eating a diet of about 80% fat.
And it can be hard in your system too, right? You have to be careful.
Yeah. I've heard like 3 stories recently of people getting gout.
Oh, okay. Because you're getting nothing of what? Sugar?
Well, you're not getting sugar, but I mean the gout comes from the bombardment of richness, essentially.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I get that now. It's the rich man's.
I just heard one the other day, but I've heard over the past several years people who.
It seems like the current popular thing still keto.
Well, you lose weight fast from it. You know,
yeah.
It's when you fuck up, you put weight on very quickly too, because there's a water weight imbalance that happens.
Right.
So if you have a cheat day, you put on like 5 pounds. You know.
But you don't do anything now except just be.
I just watch it.
Yeah.
Now I just keep it within a window.
And you keep it. You try to keep an eye on sugar, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I need to lose weight, I still go back to that being the sort of basics. But I don't. What I don't do is eat super unhealthy proteins and fats.
And you don't drink sodas, really, right?
No, that hasn't been a part of my life for years. But
I really do hate the.
I'll have like 3 Cokes a year.
Yeah.
I still like it, but
I can't stand these.
But I really like water too, and I drink a lot of water.
I don't like these Croy or whatever the hell it is.
I like plain sparkling water. I don't like flavors.
Occasionally in the winter, I like a high cup of cocoa.
But that's the only fad diet I've ever actually committed to. And I was like over a year. I was pretty much on it.
Yeah.
When we first started, our first few months of the show, I was still.
I remember that.
Still working it, I think, if you want to go back. Michelle Wisecarver.
Hi, Michelle Wisecarver.
Loved hearing you guys with Jen Kirkman. Of course she did. We talked her up.
I mean, yeah. How can you not? What are you going to do?
Funny, insightful, vulnerable, and honest. All 3 of you. Might go dig out my leather jacket. God damn, you guys are great.
Oh, my God. I feel I'm on top of the world, Michelle.
Top of the world, Michelle Wisecarver.
Yeah, Miss Wisecarver, you don't understand that my mom... Hey, Wisecarver, you don't understand that my mother has Parkinson's, eh?
See?
Thank you, Michelle. I think Jen Kirkman hit a home run.
I think, I was not at all worried, I have to say.
I wasn't either. I was looking forward to it.
Yeah.
As opposed to usually I come over here
a couple people commented on our obvious chemistry and friendship, and I have to say, while I love Jen Kirkman, I don't really know Jen Kirkman. It felt like I knew.
Oh,
Jen
you
Kirkman,
knew. You guys hit it off like
but we've spent virtually no time together in our lives. So other than Twitter and the fact that she's heard me talk for 200 hours on this show, which sort of, gives you a sort of shorthand.
Right. Well, we've always been fast friends.
Yeah. Well, I feel like fast friends now too.
Yeah.
But it is, it's unusual the fact that I really didn't know Jen. I just, obviously we've communicated quite a bit, but
yeah, so much fun. So
I'm
cool.
Thrilled to consider you a friend now, Jen.
I thought you were looking at me.
No, that's a burden.
Oh, I wish you would be nicer than me.
Okay, I'll try. But less funny is what you want, right?
Me or you?
Well,
you can only go down.
Hiant says, which musicians do you struggle to enjoy despite being highly revered? Who are you supposed to like but don't? For me, it's the Dead, but I think I'll get there eventually.
Well, it's not the Dead for me.
Who am I supposed to like?
Maybe Radiohead. I don't know enough about it to like it, though.
Yeah.
Do you love Radiohead?
No, I don't love Radiohead, but I like Radiohead. It's usually more in it's more brainy rock that I get tired, prog rock stuff I get, like Yes, and
I've never even really dabbled in that area.
Even Zappa, I feel like I should like more a lot of the time. But I don't, I don't struggle to enjoy much because I know not to try.
Yeah, but there's some things like, for example, I always wanted to like, I never knew Nirvana. Once I listened to Nirvana, I learned to love them, and I love them.
Yeah.
But I kept thinking I'm missing something about the Foo Fighters, but then I just feel like I'm not.
No, I don't think you are. I mean, it's just a rock band, and it's just up at, I don't think Foo Fighters is a transcendent band.
Right.
I think they're a solid, good rock band.
Yeah.
I think Nirvana was a more special band.
Right. I'm trying to think of other groups that, I don't know. With all groups, you go through different phases.
Yeah.
But things that I know are schlocky. Like, I never was young enough to like Kiss or anything.
Right.
So, things that are schlocky.
I feel like I've shed most of my feelings of entertainment obligation.
Yeah.
I feel like I've that the need to be a poser about things.
Right.
To keep up my cred. I'm much more comfortable going, I've never heard them, or I never listened to them.
That, I think, is a sign of growth.
Yeah.
Also, my default is the fact that I default to, if something is liked by people, I tend to want to give it the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing, to be open to it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's generally it's someone else's enthusiasm that makes me investigate, But, yeah, I don't feel, part of it is just that you can't in this day and age. There's so much shit that you're sort of expected to know, but you don't have to be.
I used to go through a time period.
The problem is that there are now people with whom you can't have a conversation unless you're going to talk about TV shows, because that's their whole fucking life.
Yeah. Yeah. That is like the, you haven't seen, have you seen?
Yeah. I find it shocking that I haven't seen the last Star Wars movie yet. Just because of my lifelong pull to it. But even that, I've sort of broken the sense of obligation for.
I'm shocked that I haven't seen. No, I'm not shocked, but I wanted to see all the movies. And I haven't seen. I don't think. There's so many of them I haven't seen, like Parasite. Did you see it?
I haven't yet. No, and we were supposed to do it for the show, even.
I think we were. Yeah,
it's hard to pull the trigger. It's just hard to, there's 1,000 things I want to watch, but none of them right now.
That's true. Well, I've told you I've always wrestled with the things that are highlights of my life. Aren't they highlights of every person's life? And so,
right. So what's the point?
I'm kind of over that, at least.
Hi, says Michael Lapsley. My birthday is soon, and my brother and sister-in-law are taking me to see To Kill a Mockingbird on Broadway. It's my first time. Ed Harris is playing Atticus Finch. Any idea how it would sound if they did a movie version with Dr. Joseph Mengele as Atticus?
I thought for a second we were asking for our input.
I don't know, Scout. I'm a little suspicious of this man, Jew Radley.
No, it's Boo Radley.
What?
His name is not...
Scene.
Brief is better. I'm starting to cut down my tweets.
Yeah. Was it after the pity party?
No, it's just... It's after reading this...
Andy did a self-pitying tweet this week, and everyone was like, are you okay? No, you're great, pal. You're hanging there, pal. Even Mark Maron's like, you okay, buddy?
At least I was able to, once I got past the experience, to realize what the joke was I was trying to do. And the joke was I was trying to do, nobody cares whether you trend or not. The idea of wanting to trend is so stupid.
Yeah.
But I kind of just made it sound like, I'm dying.
never going to trend
I'm going
unless
to
I
kill
die.
myself. Nobody cares if I'm trending. And then it sounds like you are wanting people to go, I think you're funny. No, thank you.
There's so many comics who do those Dark Night of the Soul tweets.
Man, what's the point of going on, man? Is it all about jokes? Yes, it is. You're supposed to keep doing the jokes or get out.
I've had 2 of those sort of self-pitying tweets recently, and both of them, one of them was like a couple weeks ago where I tweeted something like, my album is on every year-end albums that were released this year list. But then that day was when I found out that I got on the Bullseye Best of 2019 show. And then today I tweeted, and it was based on this very thing. I tweeted, one of my showbiz rules is yeses come fast and nos come slow.
I saw that. Yeah.
And sure enough, the very thing I had just referred to that as to the guy I'm working with came back as a yes after about a month. So,
right.
So, which I will talk about in a few weeks, but I can't.
You can't do it now. I'd love to reveal it because it's so exciting and it involves cosplay.
Rudy, come here. Put that down. Jello pudding. Oh, no.
It took me 3 seconds. But now, as soon as I heard the Jello pudding,
that's why I went for it. I realized I was on a wheel.
All of a sudden, cosplay is what Cosby does on the weekends at jail.
At jail. Stand By Your Man says, anything but. Always reminds me of watching a college game years ago. A Sooners quarterback gets the snap, falls back, watches the O-line crumble, and still tries for the play. The announcer says, see, Dick, exposed, tried to get it off. I think we rewound the DVR 20 times.
That would get me. There'd be a time period in my life that might be the most exciting thing that happened amongst my friends.
Her Nelly, see Dick exposed, tried to get it off. Her Nelly.
I think you're doing Keith Jackson, right?
I was, yes. Was it the giant O'Nelly?
Nelly. But it's such a lackluster impression.
It was a good impression. That was a good Keith Jackson. Go fuck yourself. Oh, Nelly. Fucking lackluster impression. Let's go back and listen to your fucking preschool Shark Tank, huh?
You don't have to get...
Come on.
There's a turkey's...
Let's go Shark Tank!
Cole Atchley says, I really enjoyed Tesha 142. Jen Kirkman was a natural fit as a guest. She seemed more like a third Spyler than a guest. No need to worry about messing with the TS dynamic, Jen. Great show. It sure felt like Thought Spiral to me.
Now you're talking. This is the thing. It's like, I don't want us to get spoiled by the fact that I don't want me to stop being hard on myself. No, it's, you know what? We will win awards eventually.
Wookie Talkie says, did you know that an 80s English pop duo almost starred in the sequel to 2001? And they drove a rental truck across the country to get there. It's in a documentary narrated by Charlton Heston called Wham! U-Haul to Hal.
Oh my God, this sounds.
Let me do it again.
Okay.
Wham you haul to Hal. Or let me do it as Charlton Heston.
Yeah.
Wham you haul to Hal.
That's a tough one. I'm not good. That to me that joke's almost like a fold-in page in Al Jaffe thing. The thing is, last he's on the beach. What happened? He's at the beach, right?
Yeah.
So the movie ends up.
He's on
he
vacation
goes
with his family.
right. He wakes up. So, damn monkeys! Where the hell are they? And then he sees the little, like a little Statue of Liberty, like you get into
a
like
gift shop.
The gift shop. He goes, God damn, you goddamn blow it, you goddamn dirty monkeys.
Wham you haul to hell.
I'm easily amused or happy.
You were also easily abused, so it worked out.
Groucho, I'm really sensitive to any of our Grouchoisms. Very nice. Let me help you out. Can you help me? Which way did you come in?
Stand By Your Man is back to say, still making my way through the TS backlog and finally got to the birth of Please Go Shottank! Another solid bit, fellas. I can only imagine it will eventually lead to Spiral Babies, a cynical animated cash grab to reach younger audience and push more merch.
Absolutely. You mean like a whole
Spiral Babies! Wow, 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 wow. Spiral Babies! Wow, 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 wow. Cotton candy grapes! Cotton candy grapes! Cotton candy grapes! Blah, blah. Please go.
I really enjoyed that. Wah, wah. Wah, wah. So stupid.
So loud. So loud on this show. John Kovaleski, cartoonist, says, I know Jay Leno doesn't have any children, but he did sound suspiciously like preschool Shark Tank kid.
Like he has a
Hey, Bradford! Welcome to Please Go Shark Tank on the Tonight Show!
Are you doing a tiny Jay
Let's go
Leno?
jaywalking!
What did
Hey, Bradford!
You're still doing Bradford Marsalis.
That's the last time I watched.
That has got to be so many years ago.
Hey, Ed Hall!
But who's the guy the guitarist who replaced Bradford?
I can't remember who replaced him. Kevin
Eubanks. Hey, Kevin Eubanks, it's a Night Show band.
Hi, Kevin Eubanks! Welcome to the Night Show! Let's go jaywalking!
Preschool jaywalking.
It's time for Dancing Enos and Iron J!
Greg Kelly says, have either one of you ever donned a coconut shell bra or been otherwise in drag?
No, I never have.
Oh, wow, you were very fast.
Well, look, I'm embarrassed about all that kind. No, just as a little kid, they used to dress me up, the Goldilocks or something. I've never been in a dress.
Wow, you kind of blew through that.
Well, for Halloween,
they used
my
to
sister
dress me up as Goldilocks.
Well, for Halloween, but it's like a story that I remember having been done to me, but I don't know much about it.
One
You're
girl
Goldilocks.
was called Jean Marie. Another little girl was called Felicity. Another little girl was Sally Joy. The other was me, but I'm a boy.
What's this?
My name is Bill and I'm a head case.
What's that from?
I'm a Boy by The Who.
Oh, God. Is that another one?
I'm a boy, but my mom won't admit it.
Is that another rock opera?
I'm a boy, but if I say I am, I get it.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
John Kowaleski, cartoonist, also says, Jen was great. Could you three do a special episode where you watch It's a Wonderful Life? It may still kind of sort of be maybe in the public domain a little bit.
I don't think that'll...
Why, you're crazy, and you're driving us crazy, too, John Kowaleski, cartoonist. You sit there and you draw your cartoons, and you expect the whole world to revolve around you.
You said I'd be an old gasoline alley man that was writing a thing.
Why, you're nothing but an old skeezix.
Look, Mr. Pharmacist, you've given poison to Miss Old Lady. You kept the poison next to the aspirin.
You put something bad in the medicine, Mr. Coward. I know you messed up because your son is all bad, but you put something bad in the medicine.
What? Thank you, young man.
Don't hit my sword again, Mr. Cowell.
If any time in the future you get upset with your life, remember me.
Natweet Bahara.
Natweet Bahara.
Jen Kirkman was a really great guest. Crackling energy among all three of you. Her Lionel Barrymore was pretty much just like her Jimmy Stewart, but her intentions were good.
With an attitude. Oh, I'm sorry.
Heather M. says, how angry is too angry?
Oh, well, I've been too angry. When you frighten your loved ones.
That's a good barometer. When you pop that little vein in your forehead.
Yeah. The more you look out of control. But if you're trying to defeat Trump, you might want to keep that anger through the election, and get the vote out.
True. But
if you're so angry that it's hurting you inside, it's to your detriment at some point.
Right.
Have you ever had? I think I've had anger issues in my life, and I've yelled and things like that, but I never have. Lost it, or routinely lost it, or, you know what I mean? I don't know, but I'm asking something that probably doesn't happen to almost anybody.
Yeah.
Where you lost it. And then I guess I could say, let's continue that streak.
I would contend that you've lost it, though.
No, yeah, you're right. Yes, right, but I mean violently, violence.
Okay.
Violence, that's what I would say. So, but I can't even think of these things because I'm just like, you're good, Andy, that you've never hit someone.
Yeah.
Just who knows? Well, who knows what kind of Boy Scout I'm trying to be.
We also all know that you're terrified. So
yeah, we did know that.
No one's really surprised by the I've never hit somebody angle.
Yeah, but even these true crime things where they kill people when they're sleeping, that doesn't appeal to me.
No. Kirk.
I like the person who would murder if they knew it would be easy.
Right. When murder is the path of least resistance.
Yes. Yeah. Occam's razor.
Right. Kirk says, recently I watched the late Dennis Wolfberg stand-up on YouTube, and I thought he was one of the funniest stand-ups in the 80s and 90s. Any thoughts or memories of Mr. Wolfberg?
I don't think I appreciated him as much as I could have if I didn't come up right after him and was envious and whatever. But to me, he was always a little bit, I think I was a little hard on his style, which seemed a
little bit deliberate.
Yeah.
A little bit forced.
Right. I could never really get past that.
Yeah.
But I think he had some funny bits.
Yeah, he was funny, but the cadence got old, I found.
Yeah. When my wife... And he sounds almost like a serious Gilbert Gottfried.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. But my wife and I are...
What I can only describe as an excruciating...
Dan Marsh said...
But I think that person should enjoy them.
Yeah, I wouldn't...
I'm not...
If it was Dane Cook, I'd try to shut you down. But,
yeah.
But, yeah, no, it's not an unhealthy or hacky...
Right.
Appreciation.
He's a very bright guy.
Yeah.
Not as smart as my father. What you think of my dad? Smart, right?
Smart guy. Smart guy. Natweet Bahara also says, just bought my wife and I badges for Moon Tower Comedy Festival. Will we maybe see J. Elvis Weinstein on the particular show roster? Nope.
I don't think so, but I think we're pushing for something in Montreal is what I'm pushing for.
When you say you're pushing for it?
I have another thing. I'm pushing. Such a weak. I think I ice cream every person and everything in my life.
I think you're confusing pushing and wishing.
I think you're confusing pushing with doing nothing about it till it's too late.
Right.
Pushing for Montreal. From Montreal.
Got to go back to my whole false narrative.
Well, here's the thing, though. I spend an unusual amount of time thinking about when my various pensions are going to kick in.
Yeah, you're close.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Stank Boot says, what do they mean when they say meanwhile back at the ranch?
I think it's a device it's a storytelling device.
Yeah, they're doing a sort of Saturday afternoon cereal, sort of.
Right. Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Right. Thank you. Mad City Architect says Jen Kirkman was amazing. After listening, I felt like I was walking out of a great therapy session. Need to step up my TS game, as I was jealous when she mentioned Yoshi, Michelle, and Bahara.
Right. She was in the pocket.
Mad City also wants to say, Andy, have you gotten the coronavirus yet?
It's so funny because I can remember the year where they didn't have enough flu thing and they thought it was going to be huge.
Yeah.
So I remember how bad that was. So I started to worry again. Because isn't this thing like you don't have to have symptoms to pass it?
I don't know.
I have not contracted it.
That's good. That's good.
Do you get flu shots every year?
No, I get them some years.
All right. Well, you should have gotten one this year.
I should have, but I don't think it's particularly effective this year.
They say anything is better than nothing. But that's what they said. Don't look. I'm so tired of having to be the spokesman.
It's better
for
than a poke in the arm with a sharp stick, is what you're saying.
I never understood any of those expressions. There's nothing good about a poke in the arm or poke in the eye. So it is. Right. Yes, it is better. That's faint praise.
Exactly what it means.
No.
Yes.
You're supposed to.
No, it's meant as faint praise. That is exactly the point.
A poke in the eye. I don't know. My dad seemed to say it as if it was a positive thing.
He wasn't that smart.
My dad. He's like a genius. He had 225 IQ on a scale that wasn't even used. What did that? Mother, you had me. Mama, don't go.
Mother, you had Parkinson's.
Daddy, come home. Oh my God, I can feel. I don't know about you. My energy is coming out of my shoes.
Boy, well, luckily we've gone a long time, so
we have a lot of stuff tonight. You can include the part about Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, that might go. Adam Nicollet says whatever Michelle Wisecover said. Ditto.
That's a good letter.
Larry Harold says, "What's up, you heroes of humor? What lessons did your parents teach you as a child that turned out not to be true? You should go to Hebrew school 3 times a week."
I was taught that everything to be pessimistic.
Yeah.
And mostly they were right. But panicking. They taught me to panic.
Right.
But what did they teach me that wasn't true? They didn't teach me enough.
That it's the end of the world. That's what they taught you.
Yeah.
I don't have one readily available. But I'm not saying my parents were infallible by any means. But right. I just don't have one. I don't have a big lie at the ready.
I'm sorry. It was an ADHD, but I thought there was like an animal out there. It was not.
Okay, good. I came out of a poker game the other night, and there was like 3 giant raccoons.
That can be scary.
Yeah, they were.
I didn't even know you play poker.
Yeah.
Or is it with people that I should be closer to? Don't even listen to me. Was it? Do you play 7? Do you play all no limit? Or what do you play? What's it called? It's not called all in, is it?
Words.
It's called
Hold'em.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. Not a lot of Hold'em. It gets dealt, but it's not like the basis of the game.
Oh, so you do night baseball, 2s and 7s are wild, and when you get an extra, when a diamond comes up, you go hakadeka, ho ho ho.
Yes, with less of the high school,
hakadeka,
fewer of the high schoolish qualifiers. But
you want to hear the young Dennis Miller? Here's the young Dennis Miller.
Okay.
Yeah, I told my mom. I said, "Look, go fish." You know, those are those references.
Yeah.
Go fish. What was Old Maid a game?
Yes.
Oh, I was just thinking of Dennis Miller as a wise ass 10-year-old. Hey,
I got $50 on this next game of Gnip-Gnop.
I mean, I was a knock hockey aficionado. Preschool, Dennis Miller, Shark Tank.
I've got a lot today, Tata.
What's the invention?
It's the Dennis Miller's very famous, it's a protein drink that also turns you into a giant dick. I need $50 million for a 2% share.
Next week on
Please go shopping.
There's no fat in this show.
No. Guy Incognito says, I hear Frontline got an all-access pass to interview John Bolton's mustache about the Ukraine situation, whilst Trump throwing a temperature tantrum about a lack of fast food in the executive wing.
Sounds like a searing Frontline.
Our Frontline cameras were allowed special access to the upper lip of former National Security Advisor John Bolton. Our access was limited by the fact that he had a sneezy day.
We're very tired.
Tonight on Frontline.
The payoff is always good. Tonight on Frontline.
Yo, 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 yo,
Yo, yo, yo, yo, yo, yo, yo, yo, Yoshimoto. Yo, Yoshimoto, yo, Yoshi, yo, Yamato. Yoshi, Moshima.
Yo, Yamamoto. Might be the first 2-hour test show that's breezed by. Jen was great. I love that Andy knows I'm ornery enough for the possibility of a Jen Kirkman feud to sound plausible.
Cool.
Ragamuffin 12 says, this was such an enjoyable episode. I loved how you all played off one another so well, so fun. Thank you for another wonderful Monday.
Beautiful. We are nothing but bringing joy and happiness to hundreds of to thousands.
That's it. And if we bring you joy and happiness, please support the show on buymeacoffee.com.
You Mr. Smooth's back.
/Thought Spiral. Buymeacoffee.com/Thought Spiral. Or go to Apple Podcasts and let us leave us a great review and 5 stars and
Don't forget to see me at the JFL Northwest Festival the end of February.
That's JFL Northwest Festival, end of February.
Snow time. It's in Vancouver. I really have never I've never felt more high. I feel the love tonight.
Well, just remember, Andy, you are not your thoughts. You are not your thoughts.
You are not
your thoughts.